intention today is happy hips, and we'll focus on exploring our hip mobility, hamstring flexibility, and our balance in a half moon flow. Now come to your comfortable, easy pose. Inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, roll them down and back. Inhale, lift and squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale, drop them to the floor. One more time. Inhale, lift, squeezing the shoulders all the way up, pausing at the top. And exhale, let them be heavy, dropping them to the mat. Pausing here, finding space in the neck, grounded through your sit bones, and feel a lengthening of the spine. Now close the eyes or soften the gaze towards the floor. We'll start in a seated meditation to let us land on our mat and connect to the present moment. So yoga is all about being present. Can you bring presence to your natural breath? Follow the breath as it glides in. Follow the breath as it empties out. Notice how it feels to breathe. And notice how it feels to notice the breath. Now bring presence to your body. Notice any sensations. And learn to listen to your body to learn what it needs from your practice today. Now bring presence to your mind. Notice any thoughts. What is the voice in your head trying to tell you? What is trying to be heard? And how can you quiet your mind? Bring awareness back to the breath. All together, take a deep breath in through the nose, fill up. Open the mouth and let it go. Breathing in, fill up, expand your belly. Open the mouth, exhale out. One more time, biggest breath yet, breathe in. Open the mouth, let out a sigh. Now close the mouth and focus on lengthening the inhales in through the nose and elongating the exhales out through the nose. Starting to slow down our breath, building a smooth and steady conscious breath. This is our anchor. With every shape we make, can you come back to this anchor? Use the breath as a tool to connect to the present moment at any time. All together, let's reconnect. Keep the eyes closed, inhale. On the exhale, slowly flutter the eyes open, coming back to the space. All right, let's find a gentle seated warm-up. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, bring the right ear to the right shoulder, pause here. Inhale, roll the chin along the chest, take it towards the left ear, left shoulder, pause. And exhale, take it back to the right. Continue gentle half neck circles at your own pace, moving with the breath, perhaps even making them a little bit bigger if there's space in the neck for you right now. And then we'll pause, right ear to the right shoulder. Actively pull the left shoulder down. Place the right hand on top of the head and the left fingertips to the floor, perhaps crawling the left hand off the mat to deepen the sensation in the neck. Then settle in for a breath. Inhale, bring your head back up, and exhale, left ear, left shoulder, pausing here. Drop the right shoulder away, left hand on the head, and right fingertips to the floor. You'll notice I am mirroring you, so at any time throughout this practice, if you get lost in my words, just simply follow along to the video. Take another breath. Inhale, come back up, and exhale, release the hands. We'll add in our arms. Inhale, circle sweep the arms up to the sky, palms to touch, and exhale, hands towards the heart. Inhale, circle the arms, sunshine arms. Exhale, hands back to heart, prayer position. One more time, inhale, lengthen through the sides of the body, reach up and pause here. Interlace the hands, press them high to the sky. finding a stretch through the fingers, the knuckles. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands behind the head, keep them interlaced, elbows wide. Inhale to arch the back, shine the heart, gaze up. Exhale, take the gaze to the floor, round the back, chin to chest, elbows down. Inhale, lift back up, seated cow. And exhale, round the back, take it down for seated cat. Do another cycle. Inhale, flexion of the spine, shining the heart. And exhale, finding extension, pull your belly button to the back wall. Inhale to pull yourself back up, neutral spine, head on shoulders, shoulders on hips, and keep your elbows wide. Inhale, reach up through the crown of the head. And exhale, find a side bend to the right. Stay grounded in your left hip as you reach up and over, finding a side body stretch through the left. Draw the elbows back, shoulders together, inhale. Pause for the exhale. Ground through your seat, inhale, rise back up. And exhale, take it to the other side, moving mindfully and slow. Grounded through the right hip, reaching up and over, using the side bend to find space in our rib cage, feeling a sense of freedom and lightness, maybe gaze up towards the sky. Inhale to pull yourself back up, and exhale, release the hands at the side. Take your left hand on your right knee, inhale, and exhale, twist towards the right. Place the right hand behind the back, and setting up for a gentle seated twist. So when twisting, it's important to ground one part of the spine before moving the rest. So can you root down through your hips and generate the twist beginning at your core and working your way up the spine to your rib cage, then your shoulders. Notice if you're twisting in the neck, let's keep it neutral, inhale. And exhale, release the twist, come back to center, switch your hands. Right hand on the left knee, inhale. And exhale, twist towards the left. Left hand behind your back. And now use the breath to settle into this twist. Our spine is a powerful kinetic chain, influencing the health and movement of our entire body. It connects to our hips at the SI joint, and that can be quite a sensitive area. So take this time to warm up properly. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly release, come back to center. We'll warm up our wrists, extend your hands forward, externally rotate the hands so the fingertips point to the floor. Bring the palms of the hands to the floor, fingertips point towards your legs, and gently bend the elbows. This will deepen the stretch in your wrist flexors. Lifting the palms a little bit deeper, and then notice where you might be holding. Can you relax the face and breathe? Slowly release on the inhale, shake out the hands, and then extend the hands forward, flip down, fingertips come back towards the knees, but now the back of the hands press down towards the mat. So this can be a little bit more of an intense stretch through the wrist extensors, so only apply as much pressure as feels comfortable for you. And then on the next inhale, let's slowly release, come back up. Bring the hands into tiny fists, circle them one way, and circle them the other. Good. Now let's bring our hands beside our hips, uncross our legs, and plant our feet wide to the edges of the mat. Inhale to sit up tall, long spine. Exhale, drop the knees towards the right and pause here. Inhale, lift them back up, and exhale, take them over towards the left. Continue at your own pace, windshield wiper the knees from side to side, and explore this range of motion with your breath. Our hips are a ball and socket joint, which allow for this mobility. It is comprised of nearly 20 muscles, which also make it the most stable joint in the body. So let's do one more cycle. And then come back to center. Slide the feet shoulder width apart, press down through the soles of the feet, plant the hands beside you, fingertips towards your feet. Inhale to lift the hips up, reverse tabletop, chin to chest. Pause here, open through the shoulders. One more inhale. And exhale, lower the hips towards the floor. Bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to open up wide for a seated butterfly. Lessen the intensity by sliding the feet further away. And when you find a comfortable shape in your hips, bring your hands onto your feet. Inhale, lengthen long spine. And exhale, start to hinge forward at the hips, maybe walking the hands towards the top of the mat and pausing wherever you can find a comfortable balance between effort and ease in this forward fold. So drop the head, close the eyes, and maybe your head touches your toes, and maybe your head will never touch your toes. It doesn't matter. Yoga is not about touching your toes. It's about the process of making each shape, observing where we're at in the moment. So take another breath to acknowledge where you're at today. Inhale to slowly roll yourself up, vertebra by vertebra. Allow the head to come up last. Bring your hands beside your hips, cross the legs, and roll over onto your hands and knees for tabletop. So coming onto all fours, hands are shoulder width apart, shoulder stacked over the wrist, and knees are hip width apart, hip stacked over the knees. Let's start with gentle circles towards the right, allowing these circles to be big or small, fast or slow. Just moving in a way that feels good. And then we'll go the other way. And if you're nervous about what you look like, you can close the eyes, starting to build some intuitive movement, creating freedom and fluidity in our joints and our spine. Let's do one more circle and come back to a neutral spine tabletop. Inhale to press the hands down. Exhale to bend the right knee, bring the right heel to the right glute and pause here. So we're activating our right hamstring. Inhale to float the right knee off the floor, thigh parallel to the mat, and then open up the knee towards the side like you're a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Now simply circle the knee forward. Big or small circles, starting to lubricate our joint, promoting blood circulation, and then we'll take it the other way. So you can imagine you have a paintbrush on the tip of your knee. We're painting big or small circles on the floor and the sidewall. Let's do one more, good job. And then come back to tabletop, neutral spine. Inhale, press down evenly through both hands. And exhale, bring the left heel towards the left hip, bending the knee, activating the hamstring. On the next breath, lift the knee up towards the sky, thigh parallel to the floor, and then open up to the left. Circling the hips forward on this side. Our hip joint has freedom to move in 7 directions. It might be a little sticky, so be patient. And then let's go backwards. This is circumduction, or moving the hips in a circle. So explore your 360-degree range of motion. One more circle. And then come back to tabletop, neutral spine. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze for cow. And exhale to drop the gaze and round the spine for a cat. Come back to a neutral tabletop. Extend the right leg out behind you and press the heel towards the back wall. Finding a nice stretch through the back of the calf and the hamstring. And then start to center your body, shoulders over the wrist. Now kickstand the left toes off the mat and plant the sole of the right foot down, roll open towards the right hand to the sky, coming to a modified side plank. So grounded through the left hand and the left knee, let's focus our gaze to find our balance. Gaze towards the bottom hand. Inhale to press down. On the exhale, float the right toes off the mat for a kneeling half moon pose. So our back leg is extended parallel to the floor. The foot stays flexed to protect the knee, and we press the sole of our foot into the back wall. Pausing here, integrated at the core, and then inhale to expand in all directions, maybe taking the gaze to the sky to challenge your balance. One more inhale. And on the exhale, slowly lower back down. Right hand, right knee to the floor for tabletop. Now we're ready for the other side. Press down through the hands, slide the left leg back, press the heel back, and then pause here, finding a stretch through the back of the calf. Inhale to shift forward, shoulders over wrist. We'll kickstand our right toes off the edge of the mat, left sole of the foot to the floor, left hand reaches up to the sky. Inhale, modified side plank. Focus your gaze on a fixed point, and then extend the left leg up off the mat for a modified kneeling half moon. So this here is a variation of our final peak pose we are working up to. Half moon is simply this shape standing on an extended right leg. Let's keep our back leg active and strong, noticing how it feels to make this shape. Take another breath, body space awareness, inhale, and exhale, slowly release, coming back onto all fours. We'll find one final balancing here. Inhale to float the left arm forward, and exhale to extend the right leg back. Finding a balancing table, arm and leg extension of the spine. Inhale to reach forward, exhale to kick back, stay for one more breath, and then exhale to lower. On the other side, stay strong and active in your core. Inhale, reach the right arm forward, and exhale, kick the left leg back. Pausing here, press down through the left hand and the right knee. As you extend forward, kick back, one more breath. And exhale, lower back down onto all fours. Press down through the hands, extend both legs back for a high plank pose. Shoulders over wrist, heels over toes. Feel a long line of energy from our heels all the way up to the crown of our head. So building strength in the arms, in the legs, and in the core. One more inhale. On the exhale, drop the knees, modified push-up, slowly lower down to the floor, bend the elbows. Release the toes and slide the hands forward for a supported back bend or Sphinx pose. So the hands and elbows are shoulder width apart. If you want to lessen the intensity, you can slide hands forward. However, try to keep your shoulders stacked above the elbows. And notice here if you are dumping into the low back. Can you ground the tops of the feet, the front of the hips, and the forearms? Really focus on a lengthening of the spine to create extension and space between each vertebra. Stay for one more breath. On the exhale, slowly lower down. Take the elbows wide, plant the left hand on top of the right to create a pillow, and bring your forehead towards the floor. Take a moment to pause here, shake out the hips, release the lower back. Smooth breath in and a slow breath out. On the next breath, plant your hands beside the chest, press yourself back up to tabletop, and bring the knees back to shoulder width apart. Inhale to tuck the toes behind you, spread the fingers. Exhale, float the knees 1 inch off the mat. We'll pause here in an active tabletop. Notice how this fires up our core. Our core is our power center of the body. So let's keep this activation. Let's keep this 90-degree bend in our knees. Inhale. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for a downward dog, but with bent knees. We call this turbo dog. So maintain this softness in the lower body while you maintain a strengthening in the upper body, the arms, the waist, lifting the hips up and back. And now we'll find a flow between turbo dog and tabletop, starting to link our breath with a more dynamic movement and get energy flowing. So follow along. Inhale, roll forward, tabletop. Exhale, take it back, turbo dog. Inhale, roll forward to table. Exhale, lift the hips up and back, turbo dog. Starting to build muscle memory once more. Inhale, roll forward. Maybe keep the knees hovering 1 inch off the mat. And exhale, lift the hips up and back, turbo dog. Keep the knees bent, chest will drape towards the thighs and gaze towards the toes. Keep one knee bent and then straighten the other leg, pedaling out the feet, walking your dog. Explore this movement as long as you need. And then when you're ready, find stillness. Coming to your upside down V shape, the legs can be straight, the legs can be bent, or they can be somewhere in the middle. Even weight in the hands, gaze towards the toes, chest towards the back of the mat. Take a grounding breath in and a full breath out. Inhale to roll back forward, tabletop. Exhale, take the knees wide, toes to touch, sink the hips back for child's pose. You have the option here to extend the arms forward or allow the arms to rest at the side to relax the shoulders and the wrist, bring the forehead towards the floor. Take this time to reconnect to the breath. Remember that this is your practice, although I will guide you today. Ultimately, listen to your body. Always move in a way that feels good for you. Take modifications or take rest as you need. On the next breath, plant the hands. Press yourself back up to tabletop. Bring the knees close to shoulder width apart. Tuck the toes, inhale, press down through the hands. And exhale, lift the hips up and back. downward dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. On the inhale, step the right foot between the hands, drop the back knee for a low lunge. Bring your hands on top of the front knee to set up your foundation. So the back toes can be tucked or they can be pointed, whatever feels more stable. And we're creating two 90-degree angles with our knees. Ground down through the four corners of the front foot. Inhale to reach the arms up. And we're staying lifted and active here. So inhales, spread the fingers, reach the arms. And exhale, can you lengthen the tailbone down, press down through the left hip. One more inhale. On the exhale, bring the hands towards the heart and let them rest on your hips. Now take a generous step forward with the front foot to widen your stance. Inhale. And exhale, start to sink into the front knee, deepening the stretch in your hips, but notice how your knees stay stacked above the ankle, so this is a safe way to approach a deeper hip stretch. From here, you can reach the arms up, breathing in. And on the exhale, bring the hands to the inside of the right foot. Slide the right foot to the right edge of the mat, setting up for a lizard lunge. So let's take our moment to set ourselves up here. Gaze towards the right foot. You can turn the toes to 2 o'clock, and you have the option to roll open onto the outer edge of the foot, peeling the sole of the foot open towards the sky. Check in with your left leg. Perhaps you can slide it back to deepen in the front of the hip, and the back toes can be tucked or they can be pointed, whatever feels more stable. Let's settle into a long spine, an active shape. And if this is comfortably uncomfortable for you, just pause here with the breath. Otherwise, ground down through the left hand. Take the right hand, place it on the right knee, and open up towards the right. Adding a little bit of pressure towards the right knee, rolling the heart open towards the side. And notice wherever you feel sensation, can you bring awareness with the breath? One more inhale. On the exhale, slowly release. Slide your foot back to the center of the mat. Frame the foot with the right hand and draw the hips back slowly. Straighten through the right leg. Press down through the right heel. So we're finding a kneeling half splits or a runner stretch. You'll feel this in the back of the hamstring, and get curious about what would feel good for you. So your hands can stay on the floor. Your hands can come to your prop to give you a little bit more lift. And perhaps you can slide the front foot forward more. Perhaps you can keep that knee a little bit bent. Option to extend the spine, stay lifted, or even start to fold forward over that extended leg, dropping the head. And whatever shape you settle into, reconnect with the breath. On the next inhale, slowly walk your hands forward, bend the front knee, and step back to high plank pose. So find strength here in the arms, the legs, and the core. Breathe in. And exhale, take it back, downward dog. Adjust the feet as you need, coming back to your home base. Full breath in and full breath out. On the next inhale, step the left foot forward between the hands. Drop the back knee, low lunge on the other side. Bring your hands on top of the left knee and take your time. There is no rush. So once you feel a nice and stable foundation, press down through the front foot, reach the arms up. Notice here if you can pull the left hip back, pausing with the breath, lengthening the tailbone down, reaching up a little bit higher. On the exhale, bring the hands towards the heart, place them on the hips, and slide the front foot forward, a generous foot. Take an inhale, pause. On the exhale, slowly sink a little bit deeper into the front knee. And you will feel a sensation in the front of the hip. This is our psoas. It is a large muscle that wraps from our mid-back all the way around to the front of the pelvis and the top of the quad. It can be quite tight, so pause here with the breath. Inhale to reach the arms up. On the exhale, bring the hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot. Slide the left foot to the left edge of the mat, toes pointed 10 o'clock. You can roll open the sole of the foot towards the sky and stay here with your hands glued to the mat, long spine, perhaps sliding the right leg back. Option 2, take a deeper twist, left hand on the left knee. Noticing what would feel good for you here and settling into your breath. So remember, every body is different, and tightness in your hips or a limited range of motion could simply be due to your skeletal structure. So this is the orientation of your thigh bone into the hip socket. And at any time throughout this class, if you do feel bone-on-bone rubbing, please ease off because we cannot change the anatomy of our skeleton. So take another breath. Well done in this hold. Slowly slide the foot back to center, taking your time. Left hand frames the foot. Draw the hips back, straighten the left leg, and press down through the left heel. The toes can be pointed, they can be flexed, and give yourself a moment just to set yourself up and find a shape that would be productive for you. So you have the option to slide the front foot forward if full splits is in your practice. Otherwise, you can actively deepen by pulling the left hip back, grounding down through your fingers, the left heel, and isometrically pulling back towards the back edge of the mat. You may notice a deeper sensation in the left hamstring. Take a breath. On the inhale, slowly walk the hands forward. Bend the knee and step the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. So coming to the top of your mat, feet are shoulder width apart. Grab onto opposite elbows and find that bend in the knees here. Allowing the chest to drape over the thighs. The head is heavy, perhaps nodding the head yes, or shaking the head no. Noticing here what you can let go of and allowing fresh oxygen to flow to the brain. On the next inhale, press down through the feet and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Allow the arms and the head to come up last. Keeping the eyes closed as you arrive in mountain pose, roll the shoulders down and back and notice how it feels to stand. So mountain pose is a foundational shape. It's where all other standing poses stem from. And standing postures can fall into two categories. We have closed hip and open hip. So let's explore that a bit more here. Step to the top of the mat. Bring your hands onto your hip points, which is the bony structure on the front of the pelvis. Now imagine that they were headlights. The two headlights would shine forward in the same direction. This is a closed hip pose. So let's maintain this awareness as we flow through our next sequence. Press down through the feet. Inhale, reach the arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Bring your hands to the floor, let it go. Inhale for a halfway lift. Fingertips to the floor or palms to shins. Roll the shoulders back, a nice long spine. Maybe shift a little bit forward, hips stacked above the ankles. Pause for the inhale, keep the chin tucked. And exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank. Inhale for a nice, strong, energetic shape. And exhale, take it back, downward dog. Adjust the feet, take a grounding breath in, and a full breath out. Press down through the hands and the left foot. Inhale, float the right leg high to the sky for three-legged dog. Keep the hips square, the foot is flexed. And on the next inhale, can you lift a little higher? Exhale, bend the knee, roll forward, knee to nose, shoulders over wrist. Quietly step the foot between the hands. Let's keep the back knee lifted. Pausing here, left hand to the floor. Inhale, reach the right arm to the sky, taking a revolved lunge. Inhale, gaze up towards the top hand, roll open the chest. Exhale, release the right hand to the floor. Grounded through the front foot, inhale, slowly rise up to a high crescent lunge. So this is a closed hip shape. Our back leg is active. Can you lift the knee a little bit higher to activate the quadricep? And then bending a bit deeper into the front knee, maintain that 90-degree bend, knee over ankle to engage the glute. Take another inhale. On the exhale, bring the hands to the hips and step the back foot in halfway, setting up for pyramid pose. So we're taking a shortened stance. Our feet are about 2 feet apart and they are staggered for a little bit more stability. The back toes can be on an angle towards 10 o'clock, and then we square the hips, inhale, long spine, and exhale, start to hinge forward, pausing here for a flat back. So let's linger here with a long and lifted spine. Keep the hips facing forward. So press down with the left big toe mound while you draw the right hip back and in toward the left heel. This will integrate the hips. Maintain this integration, inhale. Exhale, slowly start to walk the hands down the front leg. Bring the hands or the fingertips to the floor, perhaps even bringing them onto a block to bring the floor to you. Now you can stay with the long and lifted spine, or on the exhale, start to drape forward, bowing over the standing leg, drop the head. And wherever you land in your pyramid pose here, settle into a breath. Now bring awareness to the top of the mat. Start to shift the weight into your hands and the right foot. Bring lightness onto the left and slowly float it up towards the sky, making your way to standing splits. So let's keep the hips square, the back foot flexed, and rather than focus on lifting the back leg really high, just keep it parallel to the floor or somewhere thereabout. Now focus on centering your weight on the standing foot, pressing down through the 4 corners of the foot to create lift, and maybe even bringing a bit of water to the front knee to add a little bit of give or play. Now if it feels okay for you, you can start to surrender over the standing leg, taking a breath in. And on the exhale, slowly bend the front knee, plant the hands and step back for high plank. Nice job, inhale. And on the exhale, take it back, downward dog, finding an active rest, full breath in, and a full breath out. On the other side, inhale, lift the left leg high to the sky, keep the hips square and the foot flexed. You'll likely feel a stretch through the back of the right leg here, maybe dropping the right heel a little lower. Inhale, lift the left heel a little bit higher. Exhale, bend the knee, roll forward, knee to nose, high plank, and step the foot between the hands. Pause here, the back knee stays lifted, the right hand is grounded. Inhale, reach the left arm up to the sky. Finding a twist, taking a breath in, gazing up and opening the chest. Exhale, slowly release, left hand to the floor. Find your balance, focus the gaze, inhale, rise all the way up for a high crescent lunge. Check in with your headlights. Are they shining in the same direction? Perhaps you need to pull the left hip back, the right hip forward. Keep that back knee lifted and the left leg strong. Take another breath, inhale. Exhale, bring the hands onto your hips. Step the back foot in halfway, pyramid pose on the other side. So your feet are slightly staggered, about 2 feet apart, and angle the back foot to 2 o'clock. Let's square the hips, left to back, right forward, inhale, and exhale, hinging forward at the hips, pausing at our halfway lift. Maintain the length of the spine by reaching the crown of the head forward, the tailbone back, and notice if the hips are starting to roll open. Can you square the hips in the same direction? Take another inhale. Exhale, slowly walk the hand down the front leg. Bring your hands onto the floor, onto a block, onto your fingertips. And you can pause here with the long spine or start to drop the head over the extended leg. Now, wherever you land, let's take a moment just to all find a slight and soft bend in the knees to avoid locking them out. Perhaps notice if you were hyperextending in your joint. Instead of only focusing on the hamstring here, let's activate our calf, our quad, our core, pressing down through the big left toe mound to keep us lifted. So we'll maintain this strength as you start to shift forward on the inhale, weight in the hands and the front foot. Slowly start to float the right leg back to the sky, noticing how it feels to balance in standing splits. The hips stay closed, the back leg is active, the foot is flexed. We press it to the back wall to keep it lifted. Now notice if you're holding your breath, can you breathe? Let our breath bring a sense of fluidity and ease to this shape, surrendering and just learning what your body is capable of here. Take another inhale. On the exhale, lower the right leg to meet the left, forward fold, top of your mat, full breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. Press down through the feet. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain pose, arms to the sky. And exhale, hands towards the heart. Release arms at the side, take a breath, and I'll turn towards you so you can see me a little bit better. Let's bring our hands to our hips and explore an opened hip pose. So ground down through the four corners of both feet. Start to shift your weight into the left foot and roll open the right toes. So the right toes press down to the floor, the right heel connects above the left ankle, finding a supported tree pose. And just notice here, if you had two headlights, the left hip would shine forward, the right would open up towards the other side, shining in opposite directions. So from here, you can stay with the sole of the foot onto the floor, or find a variation, perhaps bringing the sole of the right foot to the calf, perhaps bringing it above the knee to the inner thigh, and the hands towards the heart. Taking a moment to balance in your tree pose, pause there, and I will meet you at the top of the mat. So once you find a strong balancing shape by pressing your left foot down, pressing your hands together, integrating and hugging into the center of the body, shift your right knee forward, thigh parallel to the floor, take a breath in, long spine, and exhale, start to hinge forward and kick back for toppling tree or warrior three. So continue to press the palms together, the shoulders stay level with the hips, and no worries if the torso and extended leg are not completely parallel to the floor. Just check in if the right hip starts to open up. Can you slightly bend the standing knee to roll it down to the floor? Now, if you've lost your breath, can you bring it back? If you fall out, can you fall back in? For 3, 2, 1. Press down through the left foot, and just as slowly as you lower down, can you rise back up, unhinging the hips, step the right foot to meet the left, arms at the side, full breath in, full breath out. Prepare for the same on the other side. Bring the hands back onto the hips, shift the weight into the right leg, and roll open the left knee towards the side. Feeling that external rotation of the left thigh, an opening in the hips. Once you feel supported and balanced here, you can take a variation that works for you, avoiding placing the foot on the knee joint to protect the knee, and then bringing your hands towards your heart. Connecting with the breath. And on the next breath, can you close the hips, bring the knee forward, thigh parallel to the floor. Inhale, lift for a tall spine. On the exhale, hinge forward, kick back, toppling tree, warrior three on the other side. So take a moment just to check that the hips are closed, the back foot is flexed, pressing into the back wall, and maybe even a softness in the front knee. Can you feel the expansion in the front body, a lengthening and lifting of the back body? And right away, can you bring your breath to find focus? Option to stay here or to reach the arms forward for full warrior three, perhaps extend them back for airplane pose, or even keep them exactly where they are at heart center. For 3, 2, 1. Now listen carefully. Slowly start to bend the front knee. Bring the hands to the floor and step back, high plank pose. Exhale to drop the knees wide, bring the toes to touch, and sink the hips back for child's pose. Forehead to the floor. Take a moment to rest. Find your anchor. Check in with yourself and notice, is there anything holding you back from being in the present moment, fully open to what's to come? Notice what you are still holding on to. Take a breath in. On the exhale, can you let it go? On the next inhale, plant the hands, press yourself back up to tabletop. Bring the knees back, shoulder width apart. Inhale to tuck the toes. Exhale, hover the knees, lift it up and back, downward dog. Adjusting your feet, finding your home base, taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Even weight in the hands. Let's ground down through our knuckles, our finger pads, finding a lightness in the wrists. Take another inhale. Float the right toes off the floor, kicking back for a three-legged dog. From here, can you bend the knee and open up the hips towards the side so our right hip is stacked on top of the left. Notice if your shoulders are starting to open up. Can you square them to the floor and just generate this opening from our hip joint? Inhale, bring the knee a little bit higher. And exhale, lower the right foot to meet the left, downward dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Press down through the hands. Inhale, float the left toes off the mat. Three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up the hips, stacking them left on top of right. Now we are a bigger dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Inhale, one more breath, lift a little higher. And exhale, lower the left leg down, close the hips. Gaze towards the toes and slowly start to walk the hands to the back of the mat, finding a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, fold. Press down through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Extended mountain, reach the arms to the sky. And exhale, hands back towards the heart. Release the arms at the side and step your left foot forward to the top of the mat. Turn the toes to face the long edge of the mat. We should all be facing the right. We'll set up for star pose. Extend the arms out to the side and check in that your wrists are stacked above the ankles. Usually we will need to widen our stance. Now bring your hands back towards your hips, gaze towards the left foot, and turn the left toes to face the top of the mat. We'll set up for a warrior two shape. Front heel is aligned with the back arch or in line with the back heel, whatever feels better for the anatomy of your hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, bend into the front knee. Feeling this opened hip shape. Take a moment to check in with the front leg. The knee is about 90 degrees, knee stacked on top of ankle. Press down through the four corners of the front foot and then energize the back leg. Energetically ground down through the outer edge of the back foot. Let's keep our hands here just to keep focusing on our lower body. Now, can you feel a widening of the knees? That'll help to deepen and open this shape. Pausing here, shoulders stacked above the hips, torso is centered. And then option to extend the arms forward and back, gaze over the front hand. Settle into your breath and just notice how it feels to breathe in this powerful and strong warrior shape. Take another inhale, strong and stable in the lower body. On the exhale, hinge at the hips, extended side angle. Bring your left hand down, your right hand up, and let's check in with that left hand. So you have the option here to bring your left hand to the floor, to bring your left hand on a block, or I like to keep it floating, just hovering in front of the calf. This will make a more active shape. Feel a lengthening through the side body, an opening of the chest, and gaze up towards the top hand. Full breath in, full breath out. Press down through the feet. Inhale to rise all the way up, and then extend the left leg, turn the toes, bring the hands onto the hips, take a breath, and let it go. Let's set up for the same on the other side. So gaze to the right foot, turn the toes to face the back edge of the mat. Our heel is in line with the arch or the other heel. When you're ready, inhale, long spine, nice and tall. Exhale, sink into the right knee. Take a moment to adjust or set yourself up here. And let's check in with the front knee. So notice if it starts to roll in, can you actively press it away towards the pinky toe edge side of the mat? And that will find a nice external rotation of the front thigh. Pausing here. And now actively press down through both feet evenly. And can you imagine you want to pull the mat apart? So this will engage your hip muscles, helps to activate and open in this area. Continue to lengthen the tailbone down, reach up through the top of the head, soften the shoulders, and then extend the right arm forward, the left arm back, gaze over the front hand, and take a breath here, reuniting your body with your mind and this moment. Staying nice and still in your lower body, inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips, right hand down, left hand up. Take a moment to set yourself up. Find a nice shape where you can let the right hand rest, and then breathe into the expansion that you've created. So we're open and strong in the lower body. We're light and lifted in the upper body. Stay for one more breath. Press down through the feet, inhale. Use the left hand to pull yourself back up, straighten the back leg, turn the right toes in, heel toe your feet together, and release the arms at the side. Feel free to step to the top of the mat, taking a breath in mountain pose. We are now ready to set up for our peak pose. Half moon is an opened hip shape. We'll be balancing and standing on one leg. So we will move through this slowly to really set ourselves up for success. So take your time and enjoy the process. Coming to the top of our mat, this is where your block, your prop, your water bottle, your speaker will come in handy. Place it in the top left corner of the mat and take a gentle step back to the center of the mat. The block should be about 1 foot northwest of your left foot. Now we'll build our foundation before we balance. So bring awareness to the feet, press down through the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and the outer edges of the heels. Can you lift the toes up, spread them wide, and then slowly root them back towards the floor, grounding down, building your roots. Bring your hands onto your hips, shift over towards the left as you open up the right knee towards the side, coming to a supported tree pose or taking a variation that feels good for you right away, bringing your hands towards your heart, pressing down through the standing foot, pressing the hands together, pressing the right foot into the left leg, and then focusing the eyes. On the next breath, rotate the right knee in forward, hips are closed, thigh is parallel, find your balance, inhale, long spine. Exhale, hinge forward, kick back, warrior three. Pause for a moment here just to find your balance, awareness of the standing leg. And now bring your hands towards the floor. If you have a block there, bring your left hand onto that prop. We are in a standing splits, our hips are closed, but now can you open them up? Roll the right hip open, right hip on top of the left, foot stays flexed, point the toes towards the side wall. Now keep your eyes focused on the floor to find the balance, and then bring a lightness to the right hand, maybe bringing the hand to the heart, or bringing the hand onto the right hip to continue to open up the hip a little bit more. Staying here, finding your breath, and then option to extend the right hand up towards the sky, coming into your half moon pose. So feel free to explore your fullest expression here and really let go of the fear of falling with the knowledge that you can always come back in. That's the beauty of a yoga practice. So we'll practice here for one more breath. Maybe take the gaze towards the top hand. And on the exhale, slowly lower down, right hand to the floor, right toes to the floor. Take a forward fold, full breath in, full breath out. Press down through the feet, roll yourself up, taking your time, enjoying this gentle transition, coming back to mountain pose, taking a grounding breath in and a full breath out. We're ready for half moon on the other side. So let's take your block, slide it over to the top right corner of the mat. Set up your feet. The block is northeast of your feet. And now let's press down through your feet, build that strong foundation on the right foot. Hands on the hips, shift the weight into the right foot and roll open the left knee towards the side. Pausing here in a supported tree, taking a variation that works for you on this side. challenging your balance, or giving yourself permission just to pause and be gentle. On the next breath, bring the left knee forward. Keep the core engaged to keep the thigh lifted. Inhale, tall spine. And exhale, hinge forward, kick back, warrior three on the other side. Bringing awareness to your standing leg to promote balance. And then bring your left hand to the floor, your right hand to the prop or a floor. Hips are closed. Now can you open them up? Left hip on top of the right, back foot stays flexed. Press the back wall with the left foot and press down through the four corners of the right. Start to lift your left hand off the floor, bringing it to your heart, perhaps bringing it onto the hip and actively rolling open the hip a little bit more. You can stay here or reach the left arm up to the sky, energetically extend in all four directions, and just take a moment to play in your half moon shape. So half moon pose combines flexibility, strength, and balance. And what can you invite more of right now? Can you invite it in with your breath and a smile? Take another inhale, maybe gaze to the top hand. On the exhale, slowly release with control. Left hand to the floor, left foot meets the right. Take a nice forward fold. So slide your feet a little bit wider than normal. Wrap the arms around the back of the legs. Drop the head. Generous bend in the knees. Full breath in. Open the mouth and let it go. Well done. The hard part is over. Let's bring our hands to the floor. Step back for high plank. Inhale. And exhale. Take it back. Downward dog. One final downward dog of the practice. Finding any movement that might feel good for you to shake it off. Perhaps even just finding stillness for a few more breaths. Noticing how this shape feels compared to the start of the practice. Take one more grounding breath in and a full breath out. On the inhale, roll yourself forward to tabletop. Cross the knees behind you. Come and sit onto your bum and extend the legs out in front. We'll make our way to a seated twist. So ground down through the left leg, bend the right knee, and plant the sole of the foot on the outer edge of the left knee. Wrap the left arm around the right leg, inhale. And exhale, twist towards the right. Bring the right hand back behind you for support. You can pause here or hook the left elbow onto the knee. Create a stop sign with the left hand to deepen the twist. Once you find your twist, take a smooth breath in and a steady breath out. Take another inhale. Release on the exhale. Extend the right leg, bend the left knee and cross it over the leg. Wrap the right arm around, inhale, sit up tall. And exhale, twist towards the left, left hand behind you for support. Taking a variation with the right arm, that would feel good. And let's all take a nourishing breath, directing it to the entire spinal column, all the way down towards our hips. One more inhale. Release on the exhale. Extend the left leg out in front of you and slowly make your way down to your back. We're not done yet, but we are almost there. Let's bend our knees and plant the feet. Cross the right leg over the left as though you're sitting in a chair. So squeeze the thighs together, the right knee on top of the left knee. Pause here. Inhale, lengthen the spine from the top of the head down to the tailbone. And exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest, starting to draw the thighs towards your belly. You can interlace the hands around the right knee, compressing a little bit more to deepen through the outer hip. Now you can pause here if that feels okay. Otherwise, grab a hold of the ankles. If you can't reach the ankle, grab a hold of anywhere along the shins, but please try to avoid grabbing a hold of the feet because that'll torque the ankle and your knee joint. Once you find a comfortable reach on your legs, maintain a nice flat back and slowly start to pull your ankles towards the top of the mat, settling into the breath. Can you slow down the breath to slow down the body, to slow down the mind? Start to down-regulate the nervous system to initiate the relaxation response and prepare us for our final rest. Take another breath in our supine shoelace. On the exhale, slowly release the legs, uncross, and cross the left leg over the right. Sitting cross-legged in your seat, squeeze your thighs together, left knee on top of the right. Inhale for a flat back, lengthen down through the tailbone. And exhale, draw the thighs towards the chest. Hands can come on top of the left knee, or you can grab a hold of the ankles or the shins, adding a little bit of resistance, pulling towards the back of the mat. Settling into the breath. Our hips may often feel a lot of physical tension, but they are also where we store our emotions. So with deep hip openers, you may feel a release of both physical and emotional tension. Can you bring serenity to what may come, to what has come, with a compassionate breath? And on your next exhale, slowly release. Lower the legs towards the floor. Uncross your legs. Plant the feet wide to the edges of the mat. And one more time, windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Releasing our hips. Taking another breath in gratitude of our hips and all that they do. When you're ready, find stillness. Hug the knees into the chest. Wrap the arms around. Squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball. Bring the forehead towards the knees. Full breath in. On the exhale, extend the arms, extend the legs, Shavasana. Take a moment to find your most comfortable resting shape. Allow the arms and the legs to take up as much space as you need. Then you can close the eyes or soften the gaze. Check in with yourself. What can you do to find 1% more comfort here? What can you release? Or what can you let go of? Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth and let it go. Give yourself permission to relax. There is nothing else to do. There is nowhere else to be. There is nowhere else to go. It is very rare to find a human being today. They are always going somewhere, hardly ever being. That is why I call them human goings. I encourage you to rest here as long as you need, but if it's time for you to come back, you can keep the eyes closed and gently awaken the body, wiggling the fingers, wiggle the toes, and roll over onto one side of the body, whatever is most comfortable. Then you can gently press yourself back up to a seated position, just as we started this practice. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for exploring and giving your hips a little bit of love. Thank you so much for joining me today, for trusting my guidance. Namaste.